Every single one of these active listings right now have an ultra low rate assumable mortgage, and the vast majority are not even advertising it. But even crazier, if you were to buy one of these houses and assume the mortgage, the appraiser would not factor that into the value of the house. Two identical houses, one with a 3% mortgage and another with a 7% mortgage, would be valued the exact same, even though the monthly payment would be 30 to 40% lower on the assumption. Now, this video is about crazy value hacks that are missed in the appraisal process, ways you, a buyer, can take advantage of them, and then I'm going to show you a house that's a home run because it takes advantage of both of these value hacks. Now, when I was house hacking in Sylvan Park, we had found a townhouse that had an auxiliary dwelling unit. Now, the sellers, they were barely using it and they weren't renting it. We did not have any money, but I saw this house had so much potential, I couldn't believe it. So we scraped together every penny we had. We borrowed from my 401k and we put 5% down on this house. Now, to give you an idea of just how nervous I was, I had a weekly cash flow tracker at the time. But we had a plan that we could execute. We immediately went to work, cleaning up the little 400 square foot studio and listed it for rent. With the rules at the time, we were unable to do short-term rentals, but we could medium-term a fully furnished studio, and we were clearing $1,200 a month. Then I went to work lowering the costs. We worked with the adjoined owner to restructure our insurance, and as rates dropped, we refinanced. And that's when I was shocked. Now, when we refinanced, the appraisal came back and the 400 square foot studio, they valued it at $35,000, which I thought was insane. It was bringing in $15,000 in rental income every year, and they valued it at $35,000. Now, truth be told, I refinanced 4 times, and there's another video for another day, but I made a point to be there once, and I debated with the appraiser. I showed him the revenue we were getting and asked him why he couldn't value based on that, and he said they had to look at comps, and if there aren't any, they just have to look at replacement cost. I thought that was crazy. Fannie Mae actually talks about this. They talk about in their selling guide that the income approach to value may not be appropriate in the areas that consist mostly of owner-occupied properties because adequate rental data does not exist for those areas. Now, you can literally be crushing it with rental income, and appraisals will only look at comps. They can't value it based on the income for individual residential properties like this one. Now, the problem with that is that comps become extremely muddy when there are regulations limiting Airbnbs to owner-occupants. Basically, they would look at a duplex and value it what other duplexes go for, even though the vast majority of those duplexes might be rented out long-term. Let's be honest, unless you are super close to downtown, the demand for Airbnbs can be uncertain. And that's what makes this an opportunity. You can literally get value that appraisers can't measure. If I dreamed up the perfect scenario house hack for 2024, it would be a property that has an assumable mortgage with consistent Airbnb income. That would be a dream because remember, both of those things may help the seller sell it, but the appraiser will only look at comps. They do nothing to necessarily add to the price of the house. Now, I am about to show you a listing that checks both of these boxes, but full disclosure, it's my listing, okay? And I gotta be honest with you, I feel so fortunate because this is a dream of mine to list something that you could assume with a 3% mortgage and it has short-term rental income. But I don't want there to be any mistakes about what it is I'm showing you. I'm showing you a listing that even when priced fairly at appraisal value, carries so much more value than the average listing at this price point. Now check this out. This listing, it was featured in HGTV's Masters of Flip in 2018. It's a gorgeous, almost 4,000 square foot duplex where one side is a 4-bed, 2.5 bath, and the other a 1-bed, 1-bath apartment that's getting, get this, close to $50,000 in Airbnb income consistently for the past 2.5 years. I can guarantee right now no appraiser is going to value that on the $50,000 in income. That's an insane value. But even more, this property comes with a $740,000 assumable loan at 3%. Now, this is a VA loan, but the veteran's willing to give up their entitlement, which means that you don't have to be a veteran to assume it. You just have to qualify for the mortgage. Appraisers will not know how to appraise this house. And I sent it to one of my friends, and his response was, "This is interesting. How is it still on the market?" I was like, it hasn't even been listed yet. This is 5 minutes from downtown. It's super close to the new Oracle campus, stadium, Topgolf, you name it. An investor could buy it and assume the mortgage, but the best use is for an owner-occupant. You see, an owner-occupant can take advantage of the short-term rental, which would give it $50,000 in income. You combine that with the assumption, and there is massive value hack in this property. So look, this isn't the only opportunity out there. And yes, I'm super excited to be listing this, but look, it's not the only one. There are more out there like this. There are assumable mortgages that come up, and they do have house hacking, value hacking, rental income with them. And in an environment that's as uncertain as the one we're in today, it's extremely important that you do the math, that you are careful, and that you do consider potential value hacks that may reduce your risk to the downside. After all, we don't know where the market's going to go, but we certainly know relative to history that this is as expensive as it gets. Rates have dropped about 1%. I could go on about what that's doing to the market. Right now, demand is actually stabilized and moving a little bit up. The bottom line is buy what you can afford. And if you can or want to reduce your downside risk, there's great opportunities that sellers can't necessarily raise their value or their price on, but you as a buyer can take advantage of it because appraisers, they don't factor it in. And these are clear value hacks. And with that, I hope you have a great rest of your weekend, and I look forward to seeing you next Saturday.